I want to talk about meditation for a second because I have one of those Muse headbands.
Yep.
I haven't used it in 9 months. And every day I know I should.
So listen to the should.
Because I know that it will be helpful for me. Or like at a minimum, it won't hurt. Nobody ever went and said, I meditated and it made my life worse.
I'd still listen to
But
the
like-
should, because the moment you go into the should, it's your brain telling you what you need to do. Or somebody else, like maybe me. Like maybe in your head there's this, well, you know, Tia would be proud of me or whatever if I meditated every day.
You would be proud of me.
But the fact is that you're not. And so then once you kind of go through that process of curiosity as to what is that should, then ask yourself, you know, what's happening that I'm not interested in meditating?
Right.
What else is taking up my time that's more important?
Right. It's interesting because, like, I've started running more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I run a lot now. I'm not proud of the person I've become, but I do it.
So what does that mean?
And that's a meditation now.
Well, yeah,
like,
I mean, running
that's
is.
its own meditation. And so I've found it difficult for me to, like, sit down and, like, kind of find that Zen, like, I'm like Gandhi feeling. You know what I'm talking about? That's what everybody pictures.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having a hard time justifying spending 10 minutes doing that when I could spend 10 minutes just going on a mile or mile and a half run. And like, that's its own, like, sort of form of meditation. But then I look at the headband and I think, well, I invested in this thing, I should probably do it too. And I asked myself yesterday, could I strap the headband to myself as I run and do both?
Isn't that the American way, right? Let's see how many boxes we can check off at the exact same time.
Yeah. But, like, it was also sort of like, and I wonder if it's interesting if I could train myself when I run to actually turn off my whole brain.
Absolutely. You can.
That's fascinating to me. But I'd have to look like a buffoon with a Muse headband, which looks great at Muse. The headbands look great, but just not when you're running. Like, but that's actually been a stressor because I know that I should use the headband. I know I should take 5 minutes and meditate in the morning, but for some reason I haven't done it yet.
So I can't help but want to go back to, I have become the person that I'm not proud of.
I love running now. I never
So
said
what?
that I would do
But
that.
what was that? What did that mean?
I
What was that directed at?
I never said that, or I never thought that I would be like the kind of person who exercises and then tells people. Like, I put myself into a box at that point where, like, now everybody who does CrossFit, I'm pretty much like them now. I'm not actually like them, but, like, I'm labeled as the same. It's like,
so
I
in
work
your
out and I
head,
tell
you
people.
feel like that it.
But, like, I run and then it's a great meditation. And so, like, you have the endorphins going and you're like, I just ran a whole lot. Like, I'm in shape. And then you're like, but my head's all clear too. Like, what a huge positive rush that is. You have to tell somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're like, well, I just got lumped into everybody who's doing pull-ups for 10 hours a day.
Also you.
I can't do that many pull-ups.
Well, the one thing that I was getting at with asking that question was that our words show something. Our words are an indication of something that's happening in our subconscious mind oftentimes. So when you say something casually like that, especially when you're not weighing every word before you speak it, you're just talking, and you say something like what you'd said about not being proud, that's telling you, that's an indication of something that's happening that's worth listening to. It's worth being curious about. That's where oftentimes the good stuff, that's where you learn what the habit is or what the belief is that's no longer serving you. Because there's truth in that. There's a lot of truth in that casual, off-the-cuff statement. especially when you don't check it, right, at your brain before you speak it.
Right.
I also think, too, I was just sitting here, and I always take the same instructor on the when I do the Peloton bike, and every single session, he ends it with, whatever positive energy you just got from this class, take it and spread it with somebody that you care about and share it with a stranger. So, like, you're telling people that you're working out because it's making you feel so great. You're not telling people that they need to go run miles or anything like that.
Right.
You're just basically saying, like, this amazing thing is happening to me and I feel like I can conquer the world. Do something for yourself now that makes you feel great. It's like a positive energy that's overflowing.
So why do people then, 'cause, like, one of the things that I'm like thinking about with that is like going on a 5-mile run when it's 15 degrees outside and you're running through 4 inches of snow the whole time is not normal.
No, I would literally say you're crazy.
Right.
Right.
That's exactly what I did on Sunday.
But here's the thing. You saying that, in my mind, I'm like, he's crazy, but he's doing something to better himself and make himself feel better. I'm going to go jump on my bike because that makes me feel better. I'm not going to go do what you're doing, but it's like sparking something in another person's mind.
Well, I don't recommend it. It was really cold.
I'm sure it was.
But so why do people who do that, I just did this really good thing, especially with a healthy activity like exercise, like why are they labeled as not relatable?
Because
that's really what
our
I think is
society,
getting at here.
but like think about our society. Like before you were going on runs and all of that, you were literally the person who, like, you were the person who thought who you are now is unrelatable.
Right.
But you took one step towards something, and now you're looking back and you're like, why am I not relatable now? But it's just like a mindset. Like, I know that there were so many people when I was working my corporate job that like hated everything about their lives. And like, yeah, I didn't enjoy my corporate job, but I was working out every day, and it was those 30 minutes or 1 hour that you have directly for yourself. And it just changes your outlook. Some people just don't want to step out of their mental block, so it's easier to say that the person who's bettering themselves is like unrelatable and I can't achieve that, but that's like a cop-out. I also did not mean to just go on a rant about people's mindsets.
No, that was exactly it. Because like where I think that like that quippy line that I just said like comes from is like that's just another step of like not being as relatable to the what I'm going to call the commoner, like to like the majority of the population. I don't understand it. Now that I think about it, I don't understand why that's not like put on a pedestal. At least you're like healthy and happy.
Because unfortunately, I feel like we live in a society where there's a small percentage of people who are wanting to like help other people and better their lives. But there's a huge percentage of people who would rather like not put in that 2% that it takes to get going and say that like what you're doing is unattainable. And it's all like a mindset thing. Like imagine if somebody was like, okay, he's going for a 4-mile run in the snow. I just like kind of want to feel better about myself. I'm going to go for a walk outside. That all snowballs on each other when you're doing positive things, but it's easier to stay in a cycle and stay negative.
Interesting.
That's just my 2 cents on that.
So, Evan, I'm just going to remind you that you want your microphone to be closer to your mouth.
Thanks.
Sorry.
That's fine.
So as I'm listening to you guys talk, I'm just chuckling to myself because whichever side of that coin you're on, whether you're on the side of working out and taking those, I don't know, I guess I'm going to call it risks, but using that energy to work out, or whether you're the 2% or whatever, the opposite, the 98% that don't work out, either one is a judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So one is judging the other for whatever reason, and the other's. So the mindfulness practice is about recognizing those judgments. And also having the acceptance part of mindfulness is about accepting that everything just is the way it is. And so we as individuals, we look around our life and we assess what's happening in our world, and we notice our thoughts and everything else. And then we ask ourselves, is this authentic to me? Or am I doing this because my mom or my dad or my sister or my friends or the society at large? You know, is this authentic to me? And you'll know by how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really listen to your thoughts because your thoughts are going to tell you what it's always told you. You listen to what your body is telling you. So if when you're running, you feel good, that's all you need to know. If when you're on the Peloton bike, which, by the way, I want to talk to you about the Peloton because
Honestly, the best thing we ever did.
I'm really interested in.
It's really reasonable too, because a lot of people like stray away from it. We signed up for like their monthly package, and for 2 people, like unlimited classes, all of our, like the bike itself. So we wanted to do a monthly one, so it was like constantly in our minds, like we're paying monthly for this, like it's a gym membership.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure for 2 people, unlimited, paying for the bike as well, it's like $95. And that's cheaper than 2 gym membership. Yeah. That's why we went ahead and that's why we did it. Because I used to take like unlimited flywheel classes in Atlanta. I had a membership there. And it like pains me to say this, but it was like $200 a month. And so I just remember when I was doing that, Aaron was like, you could own a Peloton bike and you'd be spending half of the money a month. But it's amazing because you can go into live classes. You can do recorded classes. I found my instructor and he's super into mindfulness.
Oh, nice.
He is, yeah. I started following him on Instagram too. His name is like Cody Rigsby. And so his whole thing is you got 20 minutes to yourself. Maybe you have 30 minutes. Like let go of anything that is happening in your work and your personal and like do this for yourself. And then he's all about like take this positive energy, like I was saying earlier, and share it with somebody. Like let's make this world better kind of a thing. But yeah. You'd love it. I'm obsessed. It's so great.
Oh, I have no doubt I would love it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just looking for a spin class.
Okay.
And I couldn't find one that was going to fit into my schedule.
Yeah.
And I've been assessing the idea of a Peloton bike, but I wanted to make sure I did all of my homework first.
Totally. That's what, I mean, we spent a year looking, like researching the different, because there's different options. And this one made the most sense financially, but also with everything it offers, because once you get the bike and you have their app and you have the membership, they have running classes that you can put your headphones in for. They have weight classes on the app, yoga. Like they have so many things that they offer on the app. So it's not just the bike.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
So that was not a sponsored sales pitch.
It wasn't.
I was literally
No, that's literally just obsessed with it. I've had so many people on Instagram. They're like, did you get this bike for free? You talk about how you love it so much. I'm like, no, it's just so good. If you want to give me something for free, okay, but
That's great.
it's not.
So the point I was getting at is that the mindfulness practice is to simply notice. It's not that even having judgments or whatever's happening is right or wrong. It's just to notice what's happening, and it gets you to your own habits and beliefs. And then hopefully, after you learn more about yourself, you make better choices. So that when you're running, you immerse yourself in the real zone of running. And you don't, if you're going to meditate, but you're doing it because you have to meditate and you're not really engaged in it and you don't feel it physically in the same way as you do running, then meditating is not benefiting you. Traditional meditation. But sometimes the only way for us to figure that out is to listen to ourselves and to understand what's happening.
Thanks again for joining us today. If you'd like to connect with us on social media, you can find Annamarie at Mindfully Annamarie. You can find myself at Emily VDW, and you can find Evan at _Evan Ryan. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to Everyday Mindfulness. Have a great day.